I like this image here. I talked about this earlier this year about what this image kind of reminds me of, but basically it's just the interactions of, you think of it like the neurons in the brain interacting. So, this is one of the first things I kind of messed around with, like, how can I manipulate to show, like, what's a good picture of how the students are interacting? And then there's me on the outside looking in, but those number of connections, either responding to posts or liking posts, I thought this was interesting, just doing the interconnection.
And I just want to share, everyone, this is available in the platform. It's one of the data pieces that's available to instructors and unfortunately not students, Brianna. There's reasons for that, I suppose. But this is called the network graph, and it shows you the strength and quality of those connections between your learners in the community. And this is just an amazing picture here. All of these learners are connected with each other. You can see those lines coming to and from, and the arrows pointing from each one there. Every single one of them is involved in the community. Want to share about what this one is?
When I created that last image, it kind of moved the people around to give that nice interconnection. It reminded me of this image, which, believe it or not, maybe a little bit outside the scope of this, but this has to do with the use of brain-altering drugs, basically relating specifically to psychedelics, but not part of my course, by the way, just to clarify. But this is an image that they used to show in a study related to psychedelics of the interaction of the neurons in the brain. And as a background, again, not my area of specialty, but the right picture was what the brain interactions looked like on psychedelics. So I kind of was like, hey, well, that's interesting. It reminds me of discussion board versus Yellowdig. But again, maybe a little bit outside the scope of this conversation and my skill set. But yeah, it's exactly. That's why I look at it like all those different ways that the students are just interacting with one another.
So just to be clear, you're not taking these things. You're just showing
Correct.
that the discussion board feels like a lot less activity and connection.
Just came across the study, and the image is what pulled me in. And then I realized after the fact, I'm like, oh, it's actually a study on psychedelics. But anyways, I like the image. I think it applies to how our students interact.
Wonderful.